Hello and a warm welcome to TBC News. Our top stories. Advanced modern technology to improve tuberculosis diagnosis services. Tanzania donates $1 million in aid to Turkey. Good evening, I am Faida Ngaga. You can also follow us live via our YouTube channel, TBC Online. Also, get all the latest news through our Instagram, Facebook and Twitter pages at TBC Online. The Prime Minister, Kassim Majaliwa, says the government continues to take necessary measures to control tuberculosis in the country by investing in advanced modern technology to improve diagnosis services. Is a report by Pascal Michael, read by Apasia Ringo.
The Prime Minister of Tanzania, Kassim Majaliwa, is here to mark the World's Tuberculosis Day, and this year is being commemorated in Bariadi, Simiyu region. And first, he eyewitnesses and get details from the exhibition.
In 2 years, we have been able to identify at least 23,000 patients of TB.
The Minister of Health, Umi Mwalimu, and other stakeholders clarify on the state of tuberculosis in the country.
25,000 Tanzanians die of tuberculosis disease every year. TB is curable if a person visits a health center on time.
The Honorable President has greatly made our work run smoothly by bringing us 8 machines for testing the genetics of tuberculosis parasite. According to the research conducted by Sokoture Hospital in Mwanza region, tuberculosis affects 98% of the people in developing countries.
Here, the Prime Minister outlines how the government has strategized to eradicate tuberculosis.
In the statistics you mentioned here, it is clear that tuberculosis is still a big problem in our country and an obstacle to the development of a nation because a TB patient loses the power to work. Among the measures taken to reduce the number of TB patients is to increase the scope of this service to reach the citizens, especially in the areas of high tuberculosis infection.
Ni kuongeza wigo wa huduma hii ili kuwafikia wananchi hususani katika maeneo yenye maambukizi makubwa ya ugonjwa wa kifua kikuu mpaka ngazi za vijiji.
The Prime Minister launched a sectoral strategy against tuberculosis and gives directives.
Tanzania has given Turkey $1 million equivalent to 2.3 billion in aid following a devastating earthquake that hit the country on February 6, 2023. Addressing journalists in Dar es Salaam, the Director of Government Communication Unit in the Ministry of Foreign Affairs and East African Cooperation, Ambassador Mindi Kasiga, says the Tanzanian ambassador to Turkey, Lieutenant General Yakub Mohammed, handed over the humanitarian assistance on behalf of the Tanzanian government as a gesture of historical friendship between the two countries.
We also, as a country, we gave our support to the people of Turkey, Turkiye, I think that's what they are called now, following the aftermath of also the 7.8 magnitude earthquake. So our ambassador there, Ambassador Lieutenant General retired, His Excellency Mohammed Yakub, took the aid on behalf of the government of Tanzania and on behalf of the president to the area that has been affected.
A 7.8 earthquake struck the southern and central parts of Turkey and northern and western Syria, killing more than 50,000 people. In other news, the government of Japan has donated $900,000 to the United Nations World Food Programme, WFP, aiming to provide critical support to refugees at Nyarugusu and Duta refugee camps in Kigoma region. While handing over the donation, the Japanese ambassador to Tanzania, Yasushi Misawa, says the donation comes at a critical time and that the funds will enable WFP to provide food to more than 200,000 refugees from Burundi and Congo.
As for refugee issues, I would like to extend my sincere gratitude to the government of Tanzania for its generosity to host and support refugees. Currently, more than 200,000 refugees, mainly from Burundi and DRC, live in the refugee camps. In order to mitigate the burden of Tanzania as host country, the government of Japan has supported the international organizations, including WFP, in their activity in the refugee camps and also the neighbor areas surrounding the refugee camps. For example, we have funded the UNICEF project in 2024 to improve health services in the camps and the host community through the provision of medical equipment and supplies.
On her side, the WFP country director, Sarah Gordon, asserts that the donation will make a difference in the lives of refugees who solely rely on WFP to meet their basic needs.
The World Food Programme has been providing life-saving food assistance to these refugees for many years. And this Japanese contribution will ensure that we are able to continue supporting them. Most of them are children and women. We are extremely grateful to the government of Japan for the generous and continued support, which comes at a crucial time as the World Food Programme faces a significant funding gap to continue providing food assistance to refugees.
The United Nations World Food Programme is the world's largest humanitarian organization, saving lives in emergencies and using food assistance to build a pathway to peace, stability, and prosperity for people recovering from conflict, disaster, and the impact of climate change. Moving on, the former Tanzanian ambassador to China, retired Lieutenant General Abdurrahman Shimbo, says the economic cooperation between Tanzania and China continues to increase every day due to the historical friendship between the two countries. He believes China will continue to invest in the country, a statement that the Chinese ambassador in Tanzania supports.
Our relations have been good. The Chinese beat the concept of loving Tanzania, and the word rafiki is a common word in China.
Of course, I believe the door of the open door to the Tanzania produce will be wider and wider in the future. And besides all that, the people-to-people cooperation, of course, have achieved a lot of results. Take the educational area as the example. During the past years, China have already provided more than 2,000 governmental scholarships.
Today, the Chinese embassy in Tanzania celebrates the 10th anniversary of the Chinese President Xi Jinping visit to Tanzania. He visited Tanzania in 2013. Ambassador Ming Jian believes that the economic infrastructure will be further developed due to the strong bilateral relations between China and Tanzania. It should also be remembered that President Dr. Samia Suluhu Hassan also visited China in 2022 as a symbol of strong ties between the two nations, and China has continued to be a major development partner in Tanzania. The Acting Director General of the Tanzania Civil Aviation Authority, TCAA, Daniel Malanga, says the government plans to improve the Civil Aviation Training College infrastructure to spur positive economic results in the sector and strengthen the aviation industry in the country. Here's a report by Evelyn Francis, read by Dudua Mohammed.
The Acting Director General of the Tanzania Civil Aviation Authority, TCAA, was concluding the first training of aviation safety for managers, insisting that the improvements at the college will facilitate aviation safety officers to work more professionally and enhance Africa's air safety.
If we have been able to be at the headquarters of the Civil Aviation Authority, behind that building there is a very big land which is for actually for the Civil Aviation Training Center, and we shall be starting the constructions very, very soon.
The head of the Civil Aviation Training College, CATC, Aristide Kanje, points out how the government benefits from the training.
When you receive the participants like those coming from abroad, it is they pay the tuition fee. That is the income to the government. And not only that, expenditure they use in the hotels, they buy, they do the shoppings. Those are the incomes to our government.
A total of 20 aviation safety managers from 8 different countries in Africa have graduated from this first training in Tanzania, and here they are specifying the new skills will improve their performance.
The course has been so interactive, the class has been so interactive. Not only that, I have experienced Tanzania in another different perspective. The class was not just being class, but they took us out to know more about Tanzania, the beautiful places of Tanzania. I've never been to Tanzania before. This is my first time, and I'm so in love with the place.
According to what we've covered here, I believe I got a lot. So I'll share with my team back home, and I believe that the next arrangement, of course, I will encourage anybody and everyone to come and attend this course. So thank you, the government of Tanzania. Thank you, the principal, the Director General, and all the citizens.
Civil Aviation Training College, CATC, is among 9 colleges in Africa and 35 colleges in the world that provide aviation safety training with the approval of the International Civil Aviation Organization, ICAO.
Now let's have a look at other stories. Morogoro Regional Water and Sanitation Authority, MORUWASA, expects to spend more than 200 billion shillings to improve clean water services in the region. Speaking to journalists in Morogoro immediately after visiting the Mindu Dam, the director of the authority, Engineer Tamimu Katakweba, says that the funds will be used to completely solve the water challenge in the region. Here's a report by Remy Asinti, read by Apsiringo.
Morogoro region, which is growing rapidly due to the interaction of people from different areas in and outside the country, but also being one of the few crossed by 3 main highways, makes this town more favorite. Now the government is investing more than 200 billion to ensure presence of clean and safe water in the region.
Maeneo makubwa ambayo mradi huu utajikita ni pamoja na kuboresha bwawa lenyewe.
The major areas in which this project will be based is the improvement of the Mindu Dam and the construction of a modern plant in the Mafiga area with the capacity to produce 54 million liters of water. Towards the areas of Lukobe, Kihonda and Kigea, we will build the additional tanks to ensure that the people of these areas get clean and safe water. The government's goal is to solve water challenges in Morogoro region by 2025.
Mwaka 2025 changamoto ya maji Morogoro iwe imepungua au imeisha kabisa.
Kama consultant tunawatafuta ili waweze kusimamia.
We are looking for consultants who can manage infrastructure activities as explained by the director. We give them information that is important, which will help them to make a bid. The winner will be given a prize and will design what is needed and manage the 5 package projects.
Ndio atakayepewa kazi sasa ataingia ndani kwenye kufanya design au takiwa.
The project is also highly dependent on protection of the water sources, and those responsible for managing water resources, which is the Ruvu Basin Water Board, continues to ensure that the Mindu Dam, which is depended upon by many residents of Morogoro, is safe.
Mpaka sasa hivi miche yetu tuliyopanda iko katika hali hapa.
The seedlings we have planted are growing, which show that they are protected and well taken care of, and we expect that they will continue to flourish and grow faster due to the presence of rain.
Tunapozidi kushamili, miche itakuwa na itaenda juu zaidi.
We appreciate the presence of TBC because we were all here about 2 weeks ago and we planted the Mikenge trees. Other stakeholders came and we planted Mikongo trees, and so far we have planted 800 trees.
The Minister of Information, Communication and Information Technology, Napin Nnauye, says he is contented with the progress of the construction of the 2 Africa submarine cable project implemented by the Airtel Tanzania Telecommunications Company, which is at 90% and expected to be completed in May this year. Nape made the remark in Dar es Salaam while inspecting the Airtel cable landing station, which is in line with the government's vision of opening up the country to the region as a gateway to digital connectivity. Rehema Sebabili reports.
After inspecting the project, Minister Nape said that the project is important for the nation because upon its completion, it will improve communication services as well as internet services, hence stimulate the digital economy.
This will be the cable that has the fastest speed ever. We have other sea cables, but this one is the fastest one. But as we said, it goes around the whole continent. About 33 countries are connected and some other 3 continents connected. This is one. 2, with that speed, it's going to change how we give services, on health services, agriculture, education, all the sectors. And because we are in the process of making sure we have the digital economy in the country, this is one of the facilitations to facilitate the digital economy, to facilitate government services to be improved. So to us, as I said, this is a game changer.
On his part, the Executive Director of Airtel Tanzania, Danish Balsingh, said that the 2 Africa submarine cables will bring in high data capacity, great connectivity, high resilience and sufficient redundancy into the ICT ecosystem and save the current and future demand of growing digital industry.
So a lot of benefits are going to be coming into Tanzania for the digitization drive. The way the traffic is growing in Tanzania on data, I think a lot more capacities are required, and this is going to give a huge amount of capacity. More than what all cables are presently giving is going to give probably 2 times of what they're giving. So that's the capacity that this is going to bring in. It's also going to open up the entire regional connectivity from Tanzania. That's going to be a great opportunity. So we are very
2 Africa is one of the largest subsea projects in the world, connecting 46 cable landing stations in 33 countries in Africa, Asia and Europe, with a cable length of 45,000 kilometers. Reporting from Dar es Salaam, Rehema Sebabili, TBC News.
Thank you very much, Rehema Sebabili, for that report. Now, located on the most western part of Tanzania, Lake Tanganyika is one of the largest tourist attractions in the Kigoma region. It is believed that Lake Tanganyika is one of the oldest lakes in the world, approximated to be 10 million years old. The lake was formed after volcanic activities that left an empty space that was filled with water by large rivers, including the Great Malagarasi River.
How about crystal clear waters? This place supports thousands of living things that depend on it. Home to more than 250 endemic species of cichlids. Waves strong enough to calm your mind. It's not an ocean. This is Tanzania's Lake Tanganyika. Located on the most western part of Tanzania, Lake Tanganyika is the longest freshwater lake in the world, about 660 kilometers long, and it's also the second deepest in the world with a depth of 1,436 meters and second largest by volume freshwater lake. Lake Tanganyika is a naturally made aquarium with display of amazing creatures of the underwater world. Come and experience the wonders of Lake Tanganyika. Welcome to Tanzania.
And that I item concludes local news. International news up next. Now let's have a look at international news with Apasia Ringo.
3 people, among them 2 police officers and the Kenya Revenue Authority, KRA, official have been reported missing after a boat capsized in Lake Victoria around midnight on Friday. According to a police report, the 3 were part of a platoon of 8 officers drawn from the National Police Service, Marine Police, Administration Police and KRA, who were conducting a joint operation around the lake when the boat capsized about 200 meters from Mugabo Beach.
The boat which had capsized had already been towed out. So what I'm doing now is actually to get facts, get the exact position where the boat capsized so that we can start our search and recovery.
Efforts to locate the missing officers are ongoing. The President of the Democratic Republic of Congo, DRC, Felix Tshisekedi, has appointed a former military leader once convicted of war crimes as his new defense minister. Jean-Pierre Bemba, a former Congolese vice president, was cleared on appeal by the International Criminal Court in 2018. He was convicted of failing to prevent his militia from committing crimes. His appointment comes as the Congolese army battles the M23 rebels in the east of the country. The changes comes as the country is due to go to the polls in December, in which Tshisekedi is expected to run for re-election. North Korea says it has tested an underwater drone that can unleash a radioactive tsunami. North Korea's state news agency says the secret weapon was put in the waters of South Hamgyong province on Tuesday and cruised for over 59 hours, saying the weapon is designed to attack enemy vessels and ports by setting off a super-scale radioactive wave. Reports say the nuclear underwater attack drone can be deployed at any coast and port or towed by a surface ship for operation. North Korean leader Kim Jong-un supervised the exercise. He says it should serve as a warning for the U.S. and South Korea. Tensions on the Korean peninsula have been running high as the U.S. and South Korea concluded the largest joint field exercises in 5 years on Thursday. South Korea President Yoon Suk-yeol says he will make sure North Korea pays the price for its reckless provocations. King Charles of the United Kingdom has postponed his state visit to France. Reports say the trip has been postponed as France faces continued protests against the government's pension reforms. The trip to Paris and Bordeaux was due to begin on Sunday, but both cities saw some of the worst violence on Thursday since the protests began in January. The entrance to the town hall in Bordeaux was set alight.
That was international news. Sports news up next. And in sports news, President Dr. Samia Suluhu Hassan has congratulated Tanzania football national team Taifa Stars following their crucial win against the Uganda football national team, the Cranes, in the Africa Cup of Nations AFCON qualifier match played at Suez Canal Stadium in Egypt. Sending the congratulatory message on behalf of the President, Chief Government Spokesperson Gerson Msigwa has further said President Dr. Samia Suluhu Hassan has promised to award 10 million Tanzanian shillings for every goal scored in the second leg match and other matches. The second leg match is to be played on the 28th this month in Tanzania. The 1-0 win against Uganda takes Tanzania to second in Group F with 4 points from 3 games, while Uganda is now at the bottom of the table. Let us now join Mario Cheto for more latest sports news.
Sports stakeholders are urged to invest in Tanzania Championship League so as to improve competitiveness among clubs and the players for the development of soccer in Tanzania. Speaking with the TBC news reporter in Dar es Salaam, TPLB Information Officer Karim Boimanda says the broadcasting of the league will attract more sponsors, as supported by TV3 Operation Director Ramadhani Msemo.
we will see most of them getting chance to be promoted to other leagues, to play in and outside the country for the biggest teams compared to what they are playing now.
So the benefits I see sooner or later we'll have a lot of sponsors coming in to request for the part of advert their product. So I think this is a good platform for them to come to advertise their product, because sports is the where is connect a lot of people.
Tanzania Championship League has reached 22nd rounds as JKT Tanzania sit on top of the league with 53 points. Youth basketball players have been asked to join new basketball games to enjoy employment opportunities which will be created in the country. The organizer of the game, Finance Kahambi, says they're playing 3-a-side basketball games. Young players may get scholarship to play in the United States, while the players of the game, Anthony Jaikanga, says the young people should work harder.
It's another avenue that we have opened up for basketball players to explore and have the right exposure of their talents in the world, but also the participation of and the inclusion of these activities throughout the year kind of gives us as a country a better ranking in the national status, to kind of make sure we get invited in different international competitions.
Upcoming players to participate in this game, especially younger players, young brads who are playing this game, because there's an age category in 3-on-3 games, and it's something really good for them.
This is the third season 3-a-side basketball games to take place in Gymkhana and has attracted many fans. Malio Cheto, TBC News.
Thank you very much, Malio Cheto. And that marks the end of the news bulletin for tonight. Thank you very much for watching. I am Faida Ngaga. Have a lovely weekend.
Medic.